You know, we've all been there. That hot, sinking feeling in your gut, that desperate, silent prayer for the ground to just open up and swallow you whole. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most powerful and honestly, most misunderstood human emotions: embarrassment.
Oh, yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've said the wrong thing, you've tripped in front of everyone, or maybe you committed some tiny little social crime. Your face gets hot, your heart starts pounding, and you just want to, well, you just want to disappear.
It's this totally universal human experience, right? That sudden, painful moment you realize, oh no, I've messed up in front of other people. But what if there's way more to it than just a bad feeling? What if that cringe is actually one of the most powerful forces in all of human society? A force that can bring us together, but can also be twisted into a devastating weapon. Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first. Let's all get on the same page about that cringeworthy feeling. What is actually happening in our bodies and our brains when we make some kind of social blunder? We all have our own personal hall of shame, right? But a recent poll found some top contenders we can all relate to. And the number one? Oh, it's a classic. Texting gossip about someone directly to that person. Ouch. Also high on the list, telling a joke that just completely bombs. And of course, the classic trip and fall in public. It's that sudden, unwanted spotlight that's the real key ingredient of embarrassment. And what's the dead giveaway that you're in that spotlight? Blushing. See, this is your body's stress response kicking into high gear. Adrenaline floods your system, and it causes the blood vessels in your face to just open wide. That rush of blood is what gives you that signature red face. It's like an involuntary flag telling everyone around you, yep, I know, I'm messed up. So, if it feels so awful, what's the point? Why did we evolve this painful, face-heating response? Well, as it turns out, it's a really crucial piece of our social programming.
You know, sociologists don't see embarrassment as a failure at all, but as a feature. They call it a social repair mechanism. When you show that you're embarrassed, you're basically sending a nonverbal signal that says, hey, I get it, I broke a social rule, I care what you think, and I want to be accepted back into the group. It's like an apology without ever having to say a word. But the real power of this feeling isn't just in the moment after we mess up. It's the constant low-level fear of embarrassment that really shapes our behavior day to day. That quiet little voice in your head telling you not to do something weird, that's what keeps us in line. And it's what keeps our incredibly complex social world from just falling apart. And get this, there's actually a surprising upside to that cringe. Studies have shown that when someone makes a mistake, like say knocking over a big display in a store, we actually like and trust them more if they look embarrassed about it. That blush is this powerful signal that they're not some cold-hearted jerk. It shows they're a safe, reliable member of the group. But this whole idea of embarrassment being a social glue, it's not the whole story, not even close. It kind of paints this picture of us all as nice guys, always helping each other save face. And that's a comforting thought, for sure. But it completely ignores a much darker, and you could argue a much more powerful part of the whole equation. I mean, think about it. When you see someone trip, is your very first instinct always sympathy? Or is it, just sometimes, a quick laugh? This is where that simple, positive view of embarrassment really starts to break down. So this leads us to two competing theories. On one side, you have the nice guy theory, which is all about shared sympathy and saving face. But on the other, you've got the ridicule theory, and it argues that a lot of the time, it's about our simple enjoyment of someone else's misfortune. I mean, a gaffe is a disruption, and that disruption can be pretty hilarious, as long as it's not happening to you, right? And here's the kicker. We aren't born knowing what's embarrassing. Research shows that little kids often only learn to feel that shame after they've been laughed at or ridiculed by others. So laughter isn't just a reaction to embarrassment, it's the very tool that teaches us what to be embarrassed about in the first place. And this darker side of embarrassment, the raw power of public ridicule, it can scale way up, from these minor little goofs to moments that can define and sometimes even destroy public figures. Take a pretty harmless political gaffe. During a speech, Vice President George H.W. Bush meant to say, we've had some setbacks. But what came out was, we've had some sex.
A tiny slip of the tongue, right? But the audience's laughter, the media coverage, it turned into this moment of public embarrassment that followed him for years.
But public humiliation can get unimaginably darker. I mean, truly horrific. In 1672, the disaster year in the Netherlands, the country was on the brink of military collapse. Public anger turned on the prime minister, Jan de Witt. An angry mob seized him and his brother. They beat them to death, and then, in this frenzy of absolute rage, they dismembered, roasted, and ate parts of their bodies. This is the ultimate, horrifying endpoint of public shaming.
And from that kind of public humiliation, it's a terrifyingly short step to using embarrassment and shame as a deliberate tool of power and control. So, take the Sicarii. They were some of history's first identifiable terrorists back in first century Judea. Their whole strategy was to attack pro-Roman elites, knowing it would provoke the Romans into massive, brutal retaliation against everyone. This completely eliminated the middle ground. If you were neutral, you were forced to choose: get slaughtered by the Romans anyway, or join the rebellion. They literally weaponized the cycle of violence and humiliation.
Conquerors have always understood this power. After sacking the city of Bukhara, Genghis Khan told the survivors that, just think about that, he wasn't just conquering them, he was shaming them. He was framing their total defeat as a divine punishment for their own sins. This psychological warfare was every bit as important as his armies.
The Karmatians, a radical sect in the 10th century, basically perfected this strategy of ritual humiliation. When they attacked Mecca in 930 AD, they didn't just kill people. No, they massacred 30,000 pilgrims, they dumped their bodies in the holy well of Zamzam to pollute it, and they stole the sacred black stone. Every single action was designed to inflict the maximum possible spiritual and social humiliation on the entire Islamic world.
So when you zoom out, you start to see that embarrassment is so much more than just an awkward feeling. It's a fundamental social force. It's the invisible pressure that holds our daily interactions together, but it can also be sharpened into a weapon to terrorize entire populations and to topple empires.
So which one is it? Is it social glue or social weapon? Well, the answer isn't simple, is it? It's both. It's the quiet regulator of our politeness, but it's also a brutal tool of power. And maybe the most important thing to realize is that this very same force, the one that makes you blush when you trip, is also one of the most powerful hidden forces shaping our entire world.